Okay, this is scene 2 of The Southern Boy. Um, so I guess scene 2 starts with the Jehovah Witness brother at a meeting, a Jehovah Witness meeting, and one of his members are questioning him about the brother's visit to a visionary psychic, and so he asks his brother, like, we don't allow spirits into our homes and into our organization, and did you tell the brother about the spirit? And he said, I did. I told him about the spirit, and for some reason I don't believe that he listened. I believe he did visit the psychic, and he did get information from a psychic, and he talks about how he doesn't want his brother to be misled by the devil, misled by demons. And the Jehovah Witness friends are at the table, and they're saying, well, what we can do is say a quick prayer for your brother. And, we'll pray for your family and pray that he stays away from, these false prophets and so on. And so the brother says yes, because I don't want my brother getting wrapped up in psychic readings and visionaries. And I don't want him believing in these things. I feel that they're very dangerous, and they cost a lot of money. And then the brother starts to talk about addictions, and he says, I believe my brother has a sex addiction as well, because I went through his things, and I'm seeing that he's spending money on call girls or on sex. And so the Jehovah Witness family members are like, "What? Are you serious?" And the brother is like, "Yeah, I've been going through some of his purchases, and he's spending money on sex." And they're like, "Oh no, so now he's buying prostitutes." And he's like, "Yeah, he's going from visionaries and buying prostitutes, and he's sleeping all day, and and he won't get in touch with his ex-girlfriend. He keeps telling her that he's busy, and he's working a lot less. He's spending his nights at prostitution houses." And so they're like, "Oh my God, we're going to have to really get your brother some help." And the brother is like, "Well, I'm thinking about following him one night and asking him to come home." And the Jehovah Witness brothers and sisters are like, "No, no, maybe you should speak to him about it in the home and explain to him the files of prostitution and these type of spirits, fornications and stuff." And so the brother is like, "Well, I don't know, but I'm really worried about my brother." And they're like, "Well, don't worry, we're going to put it into God's hands, and we're going to pray for him to stay away from these prostitution houses." And then he said, "Well, that's not all." And they say, "What, more?" And he's like, "Yes." He said, "I think my brother is running a drug operation." And they're like, "Oh no." And then he says, "I'm not quite sure, but my brother has large amounts of money. He's given my mom a large amount of money. He can't explain where it's coming from. And there's no way he could be making this money at the clothing store." And the Jehovah Witnesses are like, "Oh no, so now there's psychics, prostitution, and possibly illegal drug activity." And then the brother's like, "Yeah, but I'm not quite sure about the illegal drug activity." And so they're like, "Well, we're going to have to really say a hard prayer for him." And then the brother says, "Okay, but I want to release my prayer first, and then you guys release your prayers one by one." And so the Jehovah Witness brother says, "Bow your head, and we're going to pray for my brother." And then the scene ends. Now, the next scene ends with the mom The mom is actually at home cooking breakfast, and um, she's breaking down. She sees something that reminds her of her daughter, maybe a tennis shoe or a basketball picture, or any picture. It just reminds her of her daughter, and she breaks down. And there is a man there with her. I think it is her boyfriend. And he holds her and he tells her it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. But she breaks down and she cries profusely and she yells and she screams and she kicks. And the boyfriend is there for her and he holds her and he keeps her from, throwing things and breaking things in the house. And she screams and she yells. And she says, my daughter was raped before she died. My daughter was raped. She was gang raped. And this was so inhumane. They gang raped her repeatedly. And he says, I know, the cross-examination. And she says, I wonder how many men raped her. I wonder how long they raped her. And she just screams and cries. And she just wonders and screams. And he says, I know. But she's in a better place now. And she says, my daughter died a terrible death. My daughter died a death that no one should have to die this way. Repeated rapes, and then they slit her throat. They killed my daughter. And he says, I know. They're trying to find samples of the men that did this. They're trying to find samples. And so she's like, my daughter should not have to live this way. She should not have to die this way. And she should not have to feel this way. And she says, I vow to get this man. She said, I'm going to kill his whole family. I'm going to kill him. And I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be killed right along with her. Because when I'm done, I'm going to kill everyone in their family, everyone in his family. And he says, no, you're not. You're just angry. And she says, I'm going to kill him. And he says, no, you're not. You're gonna be okay. And he asked her, hey, let's take a little bit of marijuana. Let's eat a little bit. And she says, I don't want any marijuana. He said, we're going to have to take a little bit of marijuana because you're not eating. And you have to eat. And so he lit a joint and asked her to calm down, sit with him while he cooks her breakfast. And she lit a joint and she sits back and she relaxes. And then he turns around as he's cooking and he sees that she's passed out asleep. And he cooks for her and then he wakes her up and feeds her. And then he bathes her. The scene shows him bathing her. And after he feeds her, he bathes her and he puts her in the bed and he puts her to sleep. And so then the brother comes in making noise and the boyfriend says, please, I just put your mother to sleep. She had a very bad morning this morning. I had to give her a little bit of marijuana